Look at this, holy cow. You ever seen such a pretty I almost said sunset. This is a sunrise. Silly me. Guess I'm a little tired. You ever seen such a pretty sunrise? Look at this. And can you hear the ptarmigan off in the distance? That's what woke me up. My Alaska alarm call. On mornings like this when it's calm and still, it's usually those ptarmigan that wake me up, and I absolutely love it. Can you hear them? I don't know if you can hear them. Look at this sunrise though, holy cow. Usually at night another storm blows in, but this is the first day this whole trip, a week being here now. This is the first day that I've had a calm, peaceful morning. And isn't it magnificent? Look at this. I am going to, before this color disappears, I'm going to go try to get some pictures. This is just absolutely magnificent. So I'm going to get some pictures, see what I can find. I don't see any bears in the area, and the color's going to disappear quick. So I'll probably just do some scenic stuff with the lake and see what I can get, and I'll check in with you in just a minute. Wow, how amazing was that? Just so much pink everywhere. That was so pretty. I went over, I've got this little patch of fireweed over here, and got some pictures of that with the sunset. Gosh, I keep saying sunset, silly me. Sunrise, sunrise, sunrise. I went over to this little patch of fireweed and got some pictures of it with the sunrise behind and the mountains behind. And that was just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Got a little bit of the reflection in the little lake here too. I've never focus stacked images before. I'm not quite sure the process of doing that, but I'm sure I can figure it out. So the idea behind focus stacking is to take images, the same composition, but to focus at different points within that image, and then you stack all of those images together into one so that you have one complete image that is focused essentially all the way through when you look at it, if that makes sense. So I tried a little bit of that over with that fireweed there, and I mean, I didn't get too intense. I did like 3 or 4 images that all end up stacking together. I'll need to figure out how when I get home. I'm sure it's not too difficult, but yeah, we'll see how those turn out. It's a good concept, especially for landscape photography or macro photography, things like that. I've never felt the need to use it in wildlife photography, but I don't know, I'd love to hear from you guys. Have you used it in wildlife photography, and if so, what for? Again, I've never really felt the need to do that. Generally, I like a focused subject and a blurred background and blurred foreground, but I don't know. Again, if you guys have ever done that in wildlife photography, let me know. And let me know why, because I would love to know why. Not saying it's wrong, not saying it's right, I would just love to know why. But yeah, anyways, I did that with the fireweed over there, so perhaps I'll have a stacked image to show you here in this video. I don't know, we'll see if I take the time to figure it out or not. Again, I'm sure it's simple. Anyways, I'm rambling, like I always do. So I'm up anyways. I'm going to get some breakfast here, and then we'll go out and find some critters. The wind is already starting to pick up a little bit of a breeze, so I want to get out and see what I can find before this cold wind picks up any more than it does. Honestly, I'm hoping the day just kind of stays like it is now. A little breeze is just wonderful. But if it goes back to being how windy it was the last couple days, then that wildlife might start hunkering down again. So let's get some breakfast. Go see what we can find. Beautiful, beautiful morning though. Let's go. So, making my way back to camp. I'll fill you in about my morning in just a little bit, but I'm making my way back to camp, and there's 2 bears just chilling right outside, just napping. So I'm going to approach very cautiously. I want to get them away from my camp, though. I don't want them to get used to just hanging around my camp, especially while I'm gone. So I'm just going to approach very carefully. If they show any sign of aggression or anything, though, I'll stop. But yeah, let's go see what's been going on. camp while I've been away. My bear fence is still up, and you know, they didn't go into my camp at all. They're just right outside, and I've had them do this before. I don't know why they do this. Maybe they're just curious. Or maybe they're just smelling my 7 days without a shower smell. I don't know. But yeah, they're just napping here. So I'm gonna let them know that I'm here, just because they don't yet, and I don't want to spook them. Hey, bear. Hey, what are you guys doing? Hey guys, it's time to wake up. Hey bears, it's time to wake up. Time to wake up. They just don't even care. They're not waking up. Hey bears. It's time to wake up. Look at them. They don't even care. They literally don't even care. They know that I'm here now. They looked right at me. They're just snoozing. They don't care. I don't want them this close to my camp. I love bears. But I don't want them to feel like they can just come hang out inside my camp whenever they want. Sorry, this video is going to be so shaky. I'm just trying to do everything. 2 cameras, 2 hands, stepping over bear fences, trying to get bears out. I'm going to put my other camera in my tent real quick. I don't want it to get all wet. So yeah, as you can see, it started raining again. It got really, really windy this morning. Like, right after I checked in with you guys before, I started filtering water to boil to get my contacts in and to get breakfast. And before the water was even filtered, it was so windy. Got just the perfect view here from the tent door, and I don't want this camera to get soaked in my microphone, so I'm actually going to get all my stuff in the tent, and then I'm just going to sit here and chill with these guys for a little bit, make sure they don't get too curious around my stuff. Okay, I'll be right back. Well, this is fun. You know, it's always nice to have a little company, make new friends, have some guests for lunch, you know. Just kidding, they're not eating lunch with me. That wouldn't be good for anyone. Yeah, they're just sleeping. Mom just rolled over and stretched and yawned and went right back to sleep. She hasn't even looked at me yet. The cub has a couple times, but the cub's just fast asleep right now as well. But, you know, it is always fun having camp visitors. I do enjoy camp visitors. It's just fun to be at home out here with creatures coming to say hi, but like I said before, I don't want them just hanging around all the time, and I'm hoping they're hanging around just because they're curious and not because they smell something. If I've done everything correctly, if I've done everything as I should, my camp shouldn't have any food smells. It should not have any toiletry smells, any scented items, anything like that. All of my food, all of my toiletry items I keep in a bear-proof container with a locking lid, and I keep that out and away from my tent. I don't do any cooking or eating or anything like that in here. I don't keep any of that stuff in here. I do boil water in here in that pot that I use, but that pot never touches food, so it doesn't smell. So I do that so I can boil water on a windy day like this, being inside my tent, but I don't get any food smells in my tent that way. So yeah, if I've done everything correctly, I shouldn't have any smells that they're attracted to in here. Maybe, like I mentioned before, some musty, stale smell because I haven't showered in a couple days. But other than that, I really shouldn't have any smells. These guys are starting to wake up with me talking. But yeah, hopefully they're just curious because this is something different. It's a tent and whatever, but I've had them, they're waking up. I'm going to turn this camera. Yeah, you guys stay over there, okay? Thanks for dropping by. We'll see you next time. Come again. Bear selfie, is that a thing? Oh, let's see, other way. Can't even see him anymore. Adios. So yeah, like I was saying, if I've done everything I should, my camp really should not be attracting any wildlife in, whether it's bears or foxes or, whatever it is. My camp should never be a source of food for animals, of entertainment, or anything like that. And that's why I have that bear fence. Perfect example of why I put that bear fence up around my camp. My first year out here in Alaska, different location, but yeah, first year out here in Alaska, I did not have a bear fence just because I was so used to camping around grizzly bears in states like Idaho and Montana and Wyoming, and the bears out there that I camp around generally are just so, I don't want to say terrified, but almost, they just don't like people. So anytime they see like human related stuff, when I'm in the backcountry, if they see my camp, they take off so fast. They don't get curious. They don't come into my camp. So I've never had to have a bear fence out there. And so I just kind of assumed the same coming out here. But yeah, first year here, first night here in Alaska, years ago when I was backpacking, I had a bear. I was woken up by a bear actually ripping my tent open and trying to come into my tent to snuggle with me. And that was a bit intense. Get it? Intense? Anyways, I really didn't mean to do that. But yeah, it was an extreme experience for me, and I never want to experience that again. So I bring a bear fence, and perfect example of why I bring a bear fence, because these bears out here, they are curious, and they do like to just kind of know what's going on in their area. So yeah, I'm able to sleep well at night with my bear fence, and it's nice. Again, if you have any questions or anything about bear country camping, stuff like that, I think I mentioned this earlier, I don't remember, but I've got another video that I put together last year that goes over all that information, just things that are good to do while in bear country, so go check that out. I'll put a link to it in the description below. This morning though, like I was saying, so great morning. I had so much fun out there. While I was filtering water, the wind picked up. It's died down a little bit now, but it's still a little strong. It didn't start raining until about an hour or so ago, but the wind really picked up this morning, and it was cold, just like frigid. I was chilled to the bone cold, all except for my feet, which, thank you to my sandals, were kept warm. I'm not even being sarcastic. That was probably my warmest part of my body. Anyways, you guys don't care about that. I'm just rambling. I do this so much. Okay, so yeah, I went out this morning. I found a couple bears along the river, got a little bit of footage there, and then I ran into another group of ptarmigan, and that was really fun. I got a few images of them. It was really nice. Some of the darker birds, I love the darker ones, especially when they flare up their patches above their eyes. Just these bright, like orange red color, and it's so pretty. But I got some pictures of them, and then I just went out exploring, hiking for a couple hours, and it was great. So now I'm back here at camp. I'll wait for these bears to get out of the area, and then I'll get some lunch put together because I'm pretty hungry from all that hiking. And then we'll go back out again this afternoon and evening and see what we can find. But honestly, it was really slow out there today. It was like surprisingly slow along the river. Like I said, I saw a couple bears hanging around. There were some, again, like lazying around out on the tundra, just not really doing much, just napping. But the river was really like surprisingly slow. So we'll see what we can find this afternoon. But I mean, overall, great morning. I had a lot of fun. Just love being out here. Well, the wind's picking up again, if you couldn't tell. I thought I would check in. I've been not checking in as much on this trip as I have in previous trips. You may have noticed the previous 2-year, vlog trips that I've done. I've checked in probably like 3 or 4 times a day, maybe. Maybe like 2 times a day at the very least. But this trip I haven't been as much, just because it's been so stormy. I don't want all of my check-ins to be exactly the same. So, yesterday I was at camp and those bears were hanging around, and then they left. And then that storm rolled in and it started raining. it got really bad. That's the worst storm I've had this year yet out here, and possibly even in previous years as well. It was insane. One of those storms where the wind was so strong it was pulling the tent stakes out of the ground, and the whole tent was shaking, and if I had left, I don't know if I would have come back to a tent at the end of the day. So I stayed there and I tied everything down extra secure, and it seems to be fine. But it was just so intense last night. I didn't bother checking in, just first of all because I didn't really have anything to say, and then after that, well, also the noise, it was just so loud with the rain and the wind. So I apologize, I haven't been checking in as much, but I know I do a lot of rambling like I am now, and I didn't want to add to that. So today's been alright. The storm's still blowing through. It's died down quite a bit since last night, but it's still quite windy. But honestly, this is nothing compared to what it was last night, and it's starting to sprinkle again. But I came out today with my 1DX Mark II, which I do most of my still imagery with, and I came out today just because I wanted to get some still images of the bears today. I really don't have any from this trip, really, not many. So I came out with the 1DX2, and I've just been taking some pictures of the bears out here fishing, and I got some stuff. It's pretty fun. The light's not great just because it's so stormy, but you know, it's been a really good morning. It's still really cold, but you know, I'm just loving it out here, and I'm just having a good time out with these bears. It's been fun, even though it's windy. I think the bears are just sick of it too, because usually when it's windy they all hunker down, but today there's been a couple more out than usual, so I think once the wind died down a little bit after last night, they just decided to come out and forget about the wind, because there have been a few more out, but they're all starting to head back into the tundra now for their afternoon naps. So I'm gonna head back to camp, get some lunch, and hopefully make it out again this evening, unless that storm just gets crazy again. It's just, I don't know if you can tell, just really dark clouds all around me, all everywhere pretty much. So yeah, good times out here. As stormy as it is, I absolutely love it, and it just amazes me being out here how many bears there are, and just some of the awesome photo opportunities that I get out here. It's just fantastic, all the beautiful animals and scenery, and Mother Nature's displays. It's absolutely wonderful. So hopefully you can hear this. I just thought about that over the wind, but yeah, if I've got something to check in about tonight, I'll check in with you tonight. Until then, we'll see ya. That was a really good evening. I bet you can't guess what the weather was like all afternoon. It was rainy and windy. Another leg of that storm blew in, and all afternoon and early evening up until about 7:30, it just was pouring, and the wind was crazy. And then yeah, right around 7:30, the rain stopped, the wind died down a little bit, and it's just been this strong breeze ever since. But I went out, found some bears down by the river. Well, on my way there were a couple just lounging, so I got a couple pictures of them. Some of them were wrestling around. The light, it's just so overcast. It's really dark. I don't have a ton of light to work with, so yeah, I'll see how those pictures turned out. But then I went down to the river, and there were some bears fishing down there, so I spent some time with them. It's those big males, and it's just so funny watching them compared to the enthusiastic young males, because those big males, they're just, I mean, they've got it down. They know what they're doing. They don't even have to move hardly to catch fish. They just wait for them to come right to them, and then they kind of pounce on them. Whereas some of those younger males are funny because they're running along the river, diving in and coming out with nothing. Occasionally they'll catch a fish, but you know, those big males, they sure know what they're doing, because they're not spending a whole lot of energy catching fish out here. But you know, it's just a lot of fun spending time with them. Even with the weather this trip, how intense it's been, I feel like I've been able to have some awesome encounters with these bears as they're fishing, and the bears out on the tundra. And I've still got about a week out here, so I'm hoping that the weather will break. Then we'll get some more calm, decent weather part of the trip. But if not, you know, that's just how it is out here, and I've come to acknowledge that. And when I come out on these trips, I know that I might be stuck in my tent half the time, and that's okay. But yeah, great evening. I'm going to head to bed, actually. It's about 10 o'clock now, and there's just not any more light to work with really for photo or video or anything. And I did not get much sleep last night just because that wind was so intense. So I'm just gonna sit up here for maybe like 10 minutes and just soak it all in, and then I'm heading to bed and hopefully get some better sleep than I did last night.